This is an introductory demo to AddonSoftware's General Ledger module. Like all the modules in Add-on Software, General Ledger is built to interface with the other add-on modules. However, it can also be run standalone, and all of the functionality hooks are available for use with other verticals. So let's just take a look at some of the functionality that is available in the module itself. When we look at the menu, we'll see that there are our daily processing type tasks, and then we have submenus with reports and budgeting, custom financials, period end processing, maintenance tasks, and utilities. I won't walk you through every one of these, but you can see by looking at the list here that there is a lot of functionality available. So let's just start by looking at journal entry. So if you were to make entries directly into your general ledger rather than having subsidiary ledgers posting into the general ledger, you would use the general ledger entry task. We have lookups for our code fields, various fields throughout the system, and here we're looking at a lookup for our journal ID codes. All of this is built right into the product itself and is available either by using our mouse or with keystrokes. I'll show you mostly using the mouse. So there's a lot of functionality in our lookups. We don't really have time to go into that now, but you'll want to take a look at that later. I'm going to go ahead and select our journal entry, journal code, and there are general ledger accounts associated with that code, so that by selecting it I am indicating a linkage to GL accounts, and we'll give it a transaction and a description that will show up in reports, and a transaction date. We could optionally put in a reversal date, and the system would take care of a reversal. We can do a lookup here for our general ledger account, but I'll just go ahead and type one in, and it automatically defaults the description for that account, and it brings down our memo from our description field. Here I'll show you one of the nice things you can do. You can change the size of your columns, of your window itself, and so forth. And we'll just put in something quick and easy here, and this is all just for you to see how this works. I'll save it, and then we'll run a register to double check our work. And on the register it lists our entries, of course. One thing to notice about it is that throughout the system there will be a consistency in the documents. One of those consistent items is our audit number, which is assigned to everyone. And also we do offer the two dates, the actual date and then the processing date, should they have to be different. That'll be noted in your documents. So we'll go ahead and save that, and report here, report segment, is the general ledger summary, which gives us the journal entry summary. So by journal, it gives us the information we entered. And then if we run the update, we will see our data on our daily detail register here. Now, that is to say that the data is expected to flow into the daily detail register, whether the data is coming from the subsidiary modules of Add-on Software, coming from our journal entry, or coming from a vertical that may be hooked into the general ledger. And then that would flow into the daily detail register, and we would list it here, review it, and then update it. Now we see that there are a number of filters available here. I will go ahead and run it for all of the data, but know that we could filter our data on the daily detail in a number of ways. And then I was talking about the consistency of our headers and our reports. You can see this looks very similar. Also, up here, we'll notice that the filtering information is listed as well. So our audit numbers, I spoke of the audit numbers earlier. You can see that we have the audit number listed there. This will be broken down in that way, as well as listing our various totals on the daily detail register. So you can imagine if we had a number of entries, what that would look like. And then we can optionally run the update for our purposes. We'll go ahead and do so. The next task on the menu, the account allocation entry, and then the following one, the register, its companion, allows you to distribute amounts that are in an account across other accounts based on a percentage. I went ahead and entered one in just for alacrity. So if I had in my insurance expense account, for example, an amount that I wanted to distribute to my various locations, I could enter in the accounts here in the grid with a percentage that totals to 100. And then when I run my register by a certain period and year, whatever is applicable, it'll list the amount that was in the original account and the distribution accounts with the percentages and the values. And it'll show me a nice general ledger summary as well for my account with our information here. And when everything looks correct, we go ahead and update it, and that takes care of that. Addon also has a bank reconciliation feature where you would enter in your statement information for all of your bank accounts, and then through various tasks, subtasks, you would enter in the information on your statement and including your checks, your other transactions, and so forth, so that your accounts are balanced across the, as far as the book balance goes, and your statement itself, so that the information is right there in Addon as well. Budgeting is a really nice, powerful feature of the Addon General Ledger. When you build revision codes, as we see here, you are building what-if scenarios that you can use in your analysis of your general ledger data. So, for example, here we're looking at an up 10% type scenario. We have the option of going by amounts or units. This one is by amounts, and it's based on our current year actual amounts. So look at the current year actual, add 10% and report on that. And we'll look at that in a second about how that plays out. But for now, I'd like you to notice that we have a number of baselines that you can start with to increase, decrease, to create your what-if scenarios. We can create them by amount or percentage. This one happens to be by percentage, 10%, as is listed in our column title there. So we'll just quickly glance at a number of scenarios that we have that come stock with the demo data. And I'll go ahead and close that out. Now, we won't walk through every little step of it. I just want you to get the general idea about it. And I'll let you play with it on your own later. Here we have in our budget maintenance, I've selected a general ledger account, and it's listing for me the actual and the current budget. Okay, so that's what is already existing. Here's a potential budget, another potential budget that is available. We have our up 10%, so it's starting with, that's the one we just looked at, it's starting with our current amount, adding 10%, and allowing you to do that what-if analysis. And here's our plus 5%. So it will do that across all of the periods that are defined. I haven't mentioned yet, but the number of periods in your fiscal calendar is flexible as well in Addon. So that's a nice way to be able to do your analysis of your general ledger data. Let's take a peek at the budget revision report. We can select our accounts. We can select what codes we want to list. So this is the same as what we just saw. When I said we would look later at the column title, that's what we're looking at right there. So let's just run that. And as you can see, this report lists for each of our general ledger accounts, and we didn't filter any of them, so we have all of our general ledger accounts. We see the data for our various budgets and actuals. So a quick glance across our periods with our various what-if scenarios. And we have a budget revision register, which is where we would select the general ledger accounts, the particular budget revision that we want to put in place as being the active budget. Up until now, they've been hypothetical what-ifs, but we would run this register and update in order to update the budget for a specific range of accounts or specific accounts. But for now, we'll just close this. Now let's wrap up our lightning speed tour of General Ledger by looking at some of the reports that are available. Chart of account listing, very straightforward. General Ledger daily detail register, you've already seen that. We have a transaction history report, our summary activity report. Let's just take a quick peek at that one. So it is similar to what we were just looking at with our budgets, where we have listed our various columns that we'll report on with our ranges. Let's run it. And you can see that it's very similar to what we looked at in our budgets. We have different rows with our columns of our various periods. So that's where you go to get a listing of your various accounts with your various ways of looking at your data. So our prior, current, and next year's with a budget amount in this case. Our transaction history report is also interesting. I just skipped over that, but let's take a peek at it. We have our period and year ranges that we can have, beginning, ending accounts, wildcards by journal, detail or summary. I did want to point out this export format, very nice feature. Formats it rather than in a nice print, viewable, user-friendly format such as this. It would format in a more columnar fashion suitable for Excel, for example, spreadsheets, wherein you'd have your accounts listed with each row of data. So that's a very nice feature. So all your transactions listed here with the journals, the audit numbers, you recall I spoke of those, and the memos that associated with them. And these 3 reference fields are available if you are running with the add-on subsidiary ledgers, the other modules that interface with General Ledger. Each of these reference numbers would correspond to the specifics of the transactions that were being dealt with, that were being posted to General Ledger, and you'll want to use those for verticals if you're hooking into General Ledger from a vertical. So transaction history report to look at the details of your transactions. But of course, there are trial balances, the profit and loss, balance sheet, financial reporting of various types. Now, we have regular reports, and we also have our custom financials. And what you're seeing here are the custom financials, and I'm going to show you something about this. So let's just select those. They do feed into each other. That information will flow into the balance sheet, which is our last one here. So we'll take a look at these. And then when we get to the final one, we'll look at our, let's make that bigger for you. We'll look at the difference between this balance sheet and the other balance sheet. So here we have a statement of our location 1, and this is a custom financial, which allows flexibility for customizations. So you can change various parameters for layout and for detailing what data is displayed here and the look and feel of your specific reports. Very similar report for location 2. The specifics of what's on here is not the important point at this point. Know that this is customizable, and that also we provide a stock set. So here's our combined, by the way. I was saying stock set of our reports, the custom reports, so that you have something to work from, a basis to build for your data, your needs. And this one was a statement of changes. Again, another report listing data in a particular fashion, and then ending up here with our balance sheet. So Let's look at this. Compared to this one. This balance sheet is not through the custom financials. It allows you to specify a period and year. You can include your account numbers or not. Let's run it and compare it with the custom balance sheet. You can see that the layout is a little different for the custom financials, but there's this stock one that's available for you too. So we offer multiple ways of providing the data just in the stock package. The custom financials are listed here with a number of maintenance opportunities. If you want to customize your financials, you would do it through these tasks, and they're available for you here. But as I said, we do deliver a stock set of custom financials for you to start from, as well as the regular financials. And so that's it for our run through, our overview, introductory demo of AddonSoftware's General Ledger.